You're wanting to move to the Emerald Coast, and you've scoured the internet to find the best information whether this is a good move for you and your loved ones. But you haven't found it yet. You just haven't found the answers to the questions that you currently have. That's why you're here with me on this channel. What I encourage you to do is to stick around, because we're going to be answering all those questions. The difference between the super expensive ones and what's affordable, between waterfront luxury. We're going to hit all these different things and a lot more. So stick around. What's up, everybody? This is Tim Whittemore here with the Whittemore Group here in the beautiful Destin-Fort Walton Beach area right here on the Emerald Coast of Florida, right in the Panhandle. If this is your first time to our channel, we do tons and tons of videos about everything you need to know about our area. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, click that little bell so you're notified every single time we got a new video coming out. Now, honestly, we get tons of phone calls, emails, texts from people that are moving here, got some questions, need some help, and well, we love you guys. It's never too early to reach out. Even if you're a year or two out, you want to have a conversation, let's talk. So give us a call, text, email, shoot us a little paper airplane, whatever you got to do. We got your back when moving here to our beautiful area here on the Emerald Coast. So let's go ahead and talk about the Emerald Coast area. Where is it, right? So we consider the Emerald Coast the area from Pensacola all the way down to Panama City Beach, right? So we got all these different areas in between there. The area that we most concentrate on, the expert that you have in front of you right now, is in that Destin-Fort Walton between those two areas. So what we talk about on this video is what's really going to be affordable, most affordable places to go here if you want access to that white sand beach, right? The emerald colored water, the great fishing and boating, world-class boating that we have here, just great food in general. There's just something to be said about moving to this area that just kind of blows me away. Me as a military veteran of 14 years, I went all around the world, all throughout the States as well. Been to the top and the bottom, that's right, went to Antarctica. But there's nothing that quite beats the Panhandle. Some has called this place the Redneck Riviera. And there's certain pride that people take in that. No, the cool part about the area that we're talking about now is that you have this area of Florida that's just below Alabama, next to Georgia, those areas. So we get a lot of this southern hospitality in this area that is truly awesome. But not only that, a lot of us are prior military vets, so you got a lot of pride of ownership and things like that. Just regular good human beings. You also have the Florida Man, if you've ever looked at that incorporates this entire area. So if you can find that meld between the Florida guy, the military background, southern hospitality, that's this area. And as somebody that was originally from upstate New York, it's amazing. But anyway, so what we want to talk about here is having access to the things that you really love and why to live down here. So we talk about affordability. Now, affordability is all relative. So let's kind of talk about some areas and what the median price, the biggest cluster, but the median price for a good idea so you can see what the more affordable ones are. So right off the bat, I'm going to talk about an area called Crestview. Now, Crestview is the most affordable in our area. It's not right down by the water, but you're about 20-30 minutes drive from it. It has some of the newest homes, the biggest lots. It can have some issues with traffic because it is really only one route to get up there and down from the beach. Have plenty of traffic from I-10 coming down, trying to get into the Destin, Fort Walton, 30A areas. But it is nice. It has been growing. They've been growing the infrastructure out, but you can get into this for around $325,000 for a single family home up there. That's right. And it's usually newer. So I do encourage people to go to Crestview. Those that are working south of Crestview, I suggest that you find a house somewhere around I-10 or south, only just to avoid the traffic. As we move into our next, we have our Fort Walton Beach area. Love Fort Walton Beach. Reason being is it's centered to everything else. Fort Walton Beach, you can get into this area for around $385,000. That's a median single home price. Yes, you can get in lower, and of course you can get in higher, right? To be able to find some of these different areas. Now, Fort Walton is nice because it has a lot of the things that people will come around to go do. A lot of the big chain stores, a lot of great restaurants. It also houses Okaloosa Island. There's been a lot of renovations coming in, and they're revitalizing the whole thing as we've been looking towards the end of 2024, getting into 2025. These are those things that we're getting super excited about for them to start revamping even the downtown area. Lots of new businesses and things are coming in, restaurants, so it's been super exciting. Any case, that's our Fort Walton Beach area. Now, the next more affordable place is going to be a place just there to the west called Navarre. Navarre is really cool. It's right set in the center if you want to get into Destin, or if you want to get into a medium-sized city of Pensacola. It also has access to the most relaxing beach on the Emerald Coast. I didn't come up with that. Somebody else voted that, and I would have to say that it's true. Absolutely gorgeous. You can check out the other videos here on the channel. You want to see a little bit more of what that's about, you can check out our Navarre, some pros and cons of that. And that place is growing too. The infrastructure has grown out over the past couple of years. Now you have some more big chain restaurants, plenty of, well, there's actually a bunch of grocery stores now. There used to only be 2. There's coffee shops, there's all sorts of things, and it keeps growing out now to accommodate the populace that has been coming in. The next one that we're gonna go to is Niceville. Niceville is one of our older, a little bit more affluent towns. Average, or excuse me, median home price for that, it's actually gonna be around $450,000. Now for Niceville, the reason that most people come in here is because of the schools. It's one of the top rated schools in the entire panhandle for high schools, and that's Niceville High School. The schools in there as well that are accompanied with that are still rated around that A+, A- area. So most of the families will move into that. It's a little bit more expensive because, well, people really love their homes there. That's the best way to put it. But they're a little bit older. You will find some new homes. Infrastructure is really nice. There are some really good restaurants and places to go. We're out there, a couple great breweries. I do love some delicious libations myself, so there's some pretty nice places. Most of the time though, if you want to travel to do anything, you're gonna be traveling probably a good 20 minutes to get there. So as long as you can account for that, you should be perfectly fine. So I want to talk about some of the other areas that people have more desirability to go to, but let's find out what it actually costs to live there. For single family homes, we'll talk in Destin. That's right, the destination spot. Yeah, I couldn't get away from that pun. What's the median in there? It's around 800,000. 800,000, big jump. But this is, again, the median. We have these separate gated communities where some of these homes, to get into them, like at the low end, is around $1 million. Right? Western Destin, which is older Destin, which will have some of the older homes where you could still get into probably around 400,000 to 500,000. And if you're trying to get below that, you're going to be putting some work in when you get into it. Now, of course, you can get condos or attached units, we'll call them townhomes, in that area for around that price as well. So just know it's going to be there, but that's where everything's happening. That's where a lot of people will want to go. If you start to get towards the most expensive area, the most expensive area here is 30A. If you can't look up 30A, it's Santa Rosa Beach. And then that area is the luxury place, right? So right next to it is Miramar Beach, also part of the Destin Resort. We kind of bunched them together as real estate agents because we don't want to think of 2 separate areas. For Miramar Beach, you're going to find that the single family home for that area is around 1.2 million. That's its median, 1.2 million. Now you can still get condos and things like that for probably around 600,000 at this point, but Miramar Beach is our wannabe 30A. People are gonna drive me nuts on the comments for that. But anyway, they are, because they're not on 38. But they do want to push that price point up. Beautiful place, by the way. It's a little bit older crowd out there, and just a really happy lifestyle. Lots of shops, lots of restaurants, mainly because of the tourism that goes in here. And no better feeling than taking a stroll or driving down and just looking and just seeing the white sand beaches and the cascading emerald water. Like, it's just beautiful. So I get it. I get it, guys. I get it. All right, so what's the most expensive that we have? We have 30A, okay? 30A is that route. Like, if you look at that panhandle and then you see that this I-10 goes down in Santa Rosa Beach and you have this little boop, Route 30A, this is the true luxury area. There's a handful of beach towns that are through here that really can drive that price up. Now, I'm going to say that your average price in there, or your median price to find a single family home, is gonna be around 2 to 3 million, right? And that's not even on the water. If you're pressing that or going into these really unique areas such as like Alice Beach or going into Rosemary Beach, that getting some of those properties that have a water view could be upwards in 10 to 20 million dollars. Kind of silly, the amount of money that these things go for, but it's really whatever that you're looking for. You are going to get the value out of some of these when you're really looking for luxury, which is a completely different spot than what we're talking about today. Although if you are looking for that, of course, let me know when we have that conversation. So I really want to touch on some of the questions that you guys have asked me. I'm really trying to make an effort at answering all the ones that you guys have over the time. And they want to talk about a little bit more about luxury versus affordable, which is what we kind of just covered now. And with that being said, what is affordable luxury? It almost seems like an oxymoron. But really, where you can find that is there's different places that you can find a luxury home that isn't in a luxury community, and you can really make a good price on some some of these places that have been rehabbed into that and to look really good. There are little pockets of these communities that exist in Fort Walton Beach, that exist a little bit in Navarre, that are just hiding out in Mary Esther, all these different areas that you can really find these really nice homes that are affordable, that have those luxury amenities that you might be looking for. But if you're looking for the dual threat, as I'm going to call it, being in a luxury environment, buying a luxury home, you're going to be paying for it for sure. Somebody had also asked about the median home prices in 30A. You can get into some of these communities like Dune Allen, or you can go into Seacrest, Seagrove, or someplace like that and still find single family homes under $1 million. Yes, they still do exist even at the median price. But if you're trying to get into a little bit more of the affluent areas, more of the desirable areas that you can go to, you're going to be paying somewhere around that $2 to $3 million to get into it. However, you can still find those same types of homes, not in 30A. If you could just pick it up and put it over and say, put it in Navarre, it's going to be at a 25% discount, typically, just because it's not in that same area. It could be even lower depending upon the location that it's at and the surrounding neighborhoods. So another question that somebody had asked is like, hey, if we go into these beachfront homes, because they were talking about waterfront, to say someplace over in, you know, that Dune Allen or 30A or even Miramar Beach in comparison to say Fort Walton Beach, is it just as beautiful? I'd say yeah, because most of those beaches, they're kind of the same a little bit as you go throughout these different areas. And if you're going to be sitting on the white sand to white sand to emerald color, yeah, some of it's better than others that aren't in those luxury areas, especially if you can find places on Destin that are sitting on the beach. You may not have to pay that same price that you would have over in the 30A area. But if we're just talking about waterfront, we'll talk Choctawhatchee Bay or Choctaw Bay as we say it, you can find these gorgeous homes in comparison to Destin to, we'll say, Fort Walton Beach. And something that I would love to go into, even in Fort Walton Beach, you'll find something that's close to 8 to 9 million, and say that we're in Destin, one of those gated communities, we'll say in Kelly Plantation or Regatta Bay, and you're going to be paying that sort of price, and you pay half of that, if not less, for being on the same bay in Fort Walton Beach, not in that gated community. Plus, you won't have an HOA or any of those restrictions. Some places, I would venture to say, it's more beautiful. You still get golf cart access if you're over on that part by Elliott Point and Ferry Park and all those different areas. You just don't have that luxury area in order to have that waterfront. But it's just still as beautiful, still a nice boat ride away from where you want to go. I'd say yes, absolutely. It really just depends on where you want to be. We also asked the average cost of living in luxury areas and the average cost of living in affordable areas. So that was the other question that they had asked. And I would say that cost of living is about the same. The only difference that you're going to have are taxes on the home, your appraised taxes, HOA fees, if any. If you're in a luxury area, more than likely you're going to have those HOAs. Most everything else is going to be about the same as far as cost of living. And you can look those numbers up too. They are changing quite a bit, but just look up cost of living, put in whatever they are at. If you were looking up 30A, make sure you use Santa Rosa Beach. It'll give you the same part. They very rarely flex a little bit around there. The only thing that does change is going to be your housing cost. Housing cost is the biggest flux that you're going to see in cost of living across our general areas here on the Emerald Coast. And last but not least, we talk about job opportunities and business opportunities. For the areas that are here, most of those that work in most of the areas that are more affordable, things like that, they're part of the military infrastructure. They have 3 or 4 bases that surround this area. So either active duty military, retired, or prior service, kind of like myself, that sit around here that have jobs with the military, with a military contractor or something along those lines. There's a huge part of that. And then the second aspect of it is support for all of the awesome tourists that come in here. So we have all the property managers, shop owners, seasonal workers that come in, all the things that help out the nautical adventures that we have out here. Those are a big portion of it. Of course, healthcare. Healthcare has a good basis in our area. It's not enormous, but there's a good amount that are in here. I think it was interesting because somebody had asked, like, what do people do that can afford these $2 to $3 million homes? And I was like, well, first of all, it could have been that they're well invested. But people had asked, what sort of jobs do they have? And saying, thanks to COVID, a lot of them can work remotely and move and stay in these areas most of the time. So jobs on the high end. I'm reading it from my notes just so you see my eyes go down, that's why. But there's heaps and heaps of money, as somebody had said, in computers, engineering, financial services, and of course, real estate, right? A lot of people could be project managers, health professionals like doctors, chiropractors, things like that, accountants, lawyers, pilots, Yeah, pilots. Statisticians, architects, scientists, trade skills, electricians, psychologists. And the one thing that I would also think is if you have two professionals married, joint spouse style, what do both of those incomes look like and what they can afford? So I would throw that out there too. Business opportunities abound. If you want to get something in here, there's tons of opportunity, especially in Fort Walton as they're redoing the entire downtown. Even Destin, some of those old businesses have moved out and there's opportunities for those to move in. And Miramar Beach, we're seeing a good amount of opportunities pop up there. So there's tons of stuff. Keep going just because all these places are expanding. Even the local populace is expanding. So we need something else to really get that going. So yes, there are tons of opportunities out here for you if you are looking to do that. So that's all I have for you for Truth About Affordability here on the Emerald Coast. If you have any questions about what we mentioned here, please leave it in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. If you're here on the audio channel, there's going to be a number you can text. If you have questions, of course, reach out that manner. And if you are moving here or looking to invest, please call myself or anybody on this team. Love hearing from you guys. Love talking to you. It's never too early to reach out. So give us a call, text, email, whatever you got. We got your back when moving here to the Emerald Coast. Again, my name is Tim Whittemore here with LPT Realty. We'll see you in our next video. Take care.